too, and if you...
Thank you.
All right, I am Ed Pevos for MLive, and I am here with Grammy award-winning singer-songwriter Michael Bolton and filmmaker. Not a lot of people realize that, and hopefully you will realize that very soon when you see his documentary on Detroit, and that's what we're here about. I want to go back to the beginning of how this started, because you were doing a Motown tribute kind of album, and you were at Hitsville, and I don't know, kind of describe how this came about, because it's kind of a really cool story.
Well, it was an accidental experience, and maybe some of the best ones are accidental. But I had done, I think I've recorded 26 albums now or something like that. And I know that's what happens if you live to be 107. But one of the projects that I've wanted to do for a long time was my own return back to my childhood, which is Motown. And we saw that Hitsville was the studio with the offices and kitchens and literally everywhere where all of the great songwriters and artists would gather, write, and create what was going to be the next success for Motown. And so we asked them if we could bring our cameras, and they said absolutely. And they gave us our own private tour. They had tours that day. They were busy, but they made extra time for us, and we took our time and had different camera angles. And we're all excited. We're in the studio. We're in the snake pit, they used to call it. But in the studio in the basement, oh my God, what songs were recorded there that were not just part of my childhood, but would be hits by different artists 3 or 4 times. And my friends, people who have become my friends in the later years as an artist, Lamont Dozier and I wrote together quite a bit. So Holland Dozier Holland wrote 54 or 56 number ones, and they recorded them right there in this room. So I kind of, at one point, put my head against the wall and I said, speak to me, and I was just trying to get like a moment of the greatness that came through that place, that existed there. And Smokey Robinson talks about it as if it's absolutely hallowed ground, that something happened there that none of them could imagine. And they saw it happen over and over again through the years. So that part was easy, because I was connecting the dots to my CD, and we figured we'd get some footage, and we could make this commercial connection with it. And what I noticed, even getting over to Hitsville, is that there are areas in Detroit that I've been seeing for 30 years or so that got worse, and then they got to a point where I drove through town expecting to see a lot of blight and see areas that just looked like war had taken place there. But then when I got to the hotel and got to the places that I was performing, everything was perfect and brand new, renovated, state-of-the-art sound and everything like that. But I found out while we were doing this tour through Hitsville, through Motown Museum, that one particular company, Quicken Loans, was being driven by Dan Gilbert and pouring a lot of investment into downtown Detroit. And we started talking about meeting them. And next thing I know, I got on the phone with Bruce Schwartz. Do you know Bruce Schwartz? So Bruce, who's like the ambassador of Detroit, started telling me about what Dan and what the team was envisioning, the buildings they had acquired, the buildings they were looking at, the business and future that they saw in Detroit. And all of a sudden we started becoming fast friends. And they gave us pretty unlimited access to film the war room, the rooms that had their ultimate desires of the future of Detroit, what it would look like, and how much it would take. And then we started going to restaurants downtown. And I'm a vegetarian. I'm not a vegan, so I'm easy to take out. And I'm kind of a junk food vegetarian, to be honest. But I just kept going to these great restaurants, and not fancy schmancy restaurants, like just great food for everybody. And meeting all these great people, nice people, gritty, a lot. Mm-hmm. But from what I understand, that's the nature. And I started just becoming very fond of Detroit and fond of the people that I was meeting here. And the more access that Dan Gilbert gave us, it wasn't a possessive, it wasn't like, this is what we're doing, so just stay with us and we'll show you. we found out about the Ilitch family. We found out about the Fox Theater being owned and renovated by them. And we started doing stories on everybody who had come from Detroit or was coming back to Detroit, and found out about the homecoming, where expats come back, invest, follow their investments, follow their experience of learning about what the new Detroit, the next Detroit, the future Detroit is going to take, whether it be education, removal of blight, investment, so that a young generation of people from Michigan and around, well, throughout the country, hopefully, come here instead of Silicon Valley or staying in New York or fighting, a very extreme slope, and being part of the excitement of bringing back a city that was the fourth greatest city in America. And there's just a tremendous amount of excitement in this. It's not like covering just any city. Had I known it was going to be three and a half years in the making, considering what I'm doing, and I record an album every year and a half, I release an album every 2 years, I tour 6 months a year from here to Southeast Asia and South Africa and Eastern Europe, all of Europe. I don't know how much Eastern Europe is going to be this time around. North America entirely. I'm busy, and I am developing shows for television. The Jack Sparrow phenomenon, which you should be very well aware of, because
Oh yeah.
the viral experience
Oh
has
yeah.
been astounding. I just saw the Lonely Island guys at the Emmys, and they had Andy Samberg had his own party after the Emmys, which was so much fun. That was my favorite party, because there's a love fest with them. Because they pitched me the Jack Sparrow idea, and the first one I met with them in L.A. and the first one that was supposed to be the first Jack Sparrow film was so nasty I couldn't do it. The language was so freaking, it was just gross. So I laughed my ass off, but I said, I want to work with you guys so badly, but I can't say this, or this. It dressed as anybody, as was, as Scarface, because they knew I loved that character. I loved Pacino and Scarface. I was dressed in character for the end of it, and I said, but I still have to be in character. And Akiva said, absolutely. So that turned into this enormous viral event. Aired on Saturday night. On Sunday, we were getting 1 million views a day, and we passed 100. I think we're past 145 million views now. So that experience created this other platform for me, and television producers and writers started calling my agents, saying, "Will he do? It looks like he's into comedy. He's having fun with it. Would he do this? Would he do that?" I did 4 episodes of 2.5 Men. I did a couple of other TV shows. I'm working on a very big television show that I can't tell you enough about.
Oh, of course, you can't
But,
say
well,
that.
you
can't say that.
No, because I don't want to jinx it. First of all, because there's 3 very big steps, in launching your own network show, and then we have another one for cable that we're in development on, and yeah, this is what I love to do. But it wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the Jack Sparrow viral monstrous experience, which also then sends kids and people online and sends them on YouTube looking for your hits. What did he sing? I love Jack Sparrow. He had records before this?
Yeah, it will give you a whole new audience, and I think
does.
the whole social media thing is going to give you a whole new way of, a whole new avenue of getting this movie out.
Yes.
That you might not have thought about before. So real quick, I wanted to ask you real quick, because a lot of documentaries, a lot of movies that I've seen about Detroit are just, they do a lot of footage on the blight, on the
Blight,
negativity. How did you, you said you wanted to look at Detroit in a positive light and things like that. How did you avoid a lot of that type of stuff?
We easily avoided the negative by the fact that people have come in here and misled the people they've interviewed by saying that they were going to do a positive piece or an unbiased piece, impartial, I don't know, and done a hatchet job on Detroit. And we all know, if you're in the business, there's a saying, if it bleeds, it leads. And that seems to be what keeps eyeballs on the television set. like a car accident or a train wreck where people slow down and watch it. But what we felt was that not only did we have a lot of great positive information to cover and to reveal and film, but it was so overwhelmingly positive and promising that we didn't get what anybody was thinking by coming in, taking a bloody shot and leaving. Show me, look, I tour, so I perform in Chicago, I perform in Philadelphia, I perform in pretty much every major city and tertiary cities, secondary markets. They're all fun for us. We love traveling, we love what we do. But you show me other cities that don't have areas with tough elements to them. They don't have gangs.
Yeah,
Show me a major city without a gang, I won't believe you. What we found was that we could be the answer to what I think Detroit has been not just needing, but deserving for many years. And that's covering the remarkable people, the exciting people, the inspiring people, and the really heavy hitters who are giving them the resources they need to move forward and create the new Detroit and the future of Detroit. And that's been a labor of love because I love the people I work with here. I love the people we get to hang out with here. And when we're not filming, I play golf with some of my friends here. I play pool in town.
And you mentioned you played golf with Smokey Robinson, which
and Smokey, which is
that's a thrill. Right
that's
there,
a surreal.
the conversations you must have had with that. My
I
goodness.
mean, we talk about everything from touring and still the love, because Smokey still tours as well, and he loves it. The love of music, to one of the funniest experiences ever, which is playing golf with Berry Gordy and Smokey, and I'm the third, and watching the two of them bet, and these guys will bet on which way the ball's going to land, like which way it's going to bounce before it lands. And they're betting while the ball's up in the air. I mean, they're like fanatics and hysterical. But I love them. And yeah, I never dreamed I would get to spend some time hanging, but we've become really great friends, especially Smokey I get to see quite a bit.
Very cool. All right. Well, there you go. We'll leave it at that for now. So gotta keep dreaming. Can't wait to see it. We'll see bits and pieces of it, a lot more of it tomorrow, and we'll look forward in the near future. So Ed Pevos for MLive. Thank you very much.
Pleasure.
Appreciate
My
it.
pleasure. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.